Hi, my name is Ella Slater, and today I'm presenting on an article that I have been researching about self-compassion and emotional regulation by Sepide Ranjori, Denny Mayer, and Glenn William Bates. A little bit about the article. It was published on November 18th, 2025, and the study was conducted by the Department of Psychological Sciences at Swinburne University in Australia. So, the title of the article is Self-Compassion Components and Emotional Regulation Strategies as Predictors of Psychological Distress and Well-Being. Basically, the article covers and conducts a study about how self-talk strategies can change perspective and moods and have a drastic effect on mental state. Self-talk is essentially just the thoughts that you have about yourself in any given situation, how you're able to talk yourself down or into or out of situations, negative and positive self-talk. For method, the researchers sent out a survey to the students of Swinburne University. The survey contained a variety of pre-established mental health surveys, surveys that we have already been using within the field of psychology for many, many years in terms of diagnostics and prescribing medications. Basically, any survey that you would be presented with if you went to a psychiatrist or if you were in a hospital. They used a compilation of all of these different surveys, which I will get into on a later slide, and put them together in a more cohesive survey, so they were all together, and sent it out to students. The survey was about an hour long for students to finish. The researchers preemptively studied Buddhist teachings surrounding compassionate self-talk versus negative self-talk. That was their main source within the article for how they gathered their own research before putting together their surveys. For the participants, the sample size included 201 participants, 118 women and 81 men, and 2 other. There was an 18 to 73 year age gap. They also provided statistics based off of the majors of each student. There were 43.8% that were in health, arts, and design, 30% science and engineering, 14.9% business law, 10.9% vocational engineering, and of the participants, 45% were full-time students, 21% were part-time students, part-time work, and 11% were studying while working full-time. For measures, they used some surveys: the self-compassion scale, emotional regulation scale, depression, anxiety, and stress scale, negative version of positive/negative effect schedule, positive version of the schedule, satisfaction with life scale, and psychological well-being scale. For their results, they had 4 hypotheses. Only one of them was not proven. Their hypotheses are slightly long-winded, so just to summarize, they did find that positive self-talk has definitely a positive impact when you're in a negative headspace, and negative self-talk can bring you further down into that negative headspace. They also talked about expressive suppression, which is basically whether or not you take negative emotions and you suppress them down or you express them, and they found that expressive suppression also negatively impacts mental state, which does seem a little bit like common sense, but having studies like this does help us do further research, especially into the surveys that we are using. Overall, this was a very informative survey that they did, and they were right in the majority of their assumptions. The strengths that I found within this article, it was overall a very well written article. They included a lot of information and background information going into their study. The conclusion was also very detailed. They had a section for each hypothesis that they kind of went over. The two main weaknesses that I found, the hypotheses were slightly redundant. I feel that they could have put it into two hypotheses and made it more simple, and there could have been a little bit more information regarding what kind of participants, a little bit more personal details. I think that would have provided some good insight into the article and the study.